Welcome back to another episode of NESPN. I'm Trenton Scott. I'm here with
Gail Ferguson.
And today our guest is Mr. Janke. Mr. Janke, how you doing today?
Doing very good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Good? You having a good time?
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
A lot of teaching?
Well, teaching and umpiring, yeah.
Look at some games got canceled today.
Yeah.
So-
I needed those games for redemption.
Yeah?
Yeah, I needed those games. Yesterday's games were brutal.
Oh, man. What happened? Tell us a little about it.
I'm a baseball umpire, so, I've done college baseball and I've done semi-pro baseball, and now I just do high school baseball, and I had Cass against Lawrence.
Oh, boy.
It was 25-1 the first game and 17-2 the second game. Cass won.
Oh. Oh, I thought it was Lawrence.
No, unfortunately, Lawrence was not very good.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right, Caleb, hit Mr. Janke with the first question we have for today's podcast.
All right, so our first question is, can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Derek Janke. I'm 41 years old. I am married. I have 3 kids. I'm from Niles. I'm a teacher by trade, and I also umpire baseball on the side. That's the regular demographics, I guess, right? Like if you want to nail down a question like that.
Right. So you said you graduated from here?
Yep, graduated 2002.
Okay.
Yep. A couple years after Corn.
And a couple years after the AD?
Couple years. Yep. I think he was 2000.
Okay. All right, Caleb. Follow us up on the second one. What do we have?
What high school sports did you play?
So I only played varsity baseball. I was on the freshman basketball team, but I was like the human victory cigar. So like the only time I was getting in the game is if they desperately needed a 3-pointer and no defense, or if we were getting blown out. Like that was it. And then I played JV football. I came in 2 games into the season, and then immediately won a starting position because they didn't have a safety, and you wouldn't think that I would be a safety based off of my physique now, but I used to be able to play football. I just didn't want to play varsity because 2-a-days and all that stuff.
Right.
Baseball wasn't my number one sport, so I didn't want to walk in and miss all the 2-a-day stuff and then not get a chance to start because if I'm playing a sport, I want to play.
Right.
I can't sit the bench.
That's how I am. But and then varsity baseball, all 4 years?
No, only 2. Our varsity baseball teams were really good. We used to have a freshman team and a JV team. Freshmen didn't make it past the freshman team. You were a freshman, you were on the freshman team. JVs, we had, I think the one year that Corn was a senior, there were 10 juniors on JV. That's how deep our program was back then. We had to play all the Indiana schools and stuff all the time because
no one in Michigan has it.
No, not very many.
Dang.
Nope.
It's a lot different now. You got
really
freshmen on varsity and somehow
if a freshman, I can't think of a single underclassman who made it to varsity before
junior year.
Before junior year, yeah.
Okay. So when you're on the baseball team, what accomplishments did you make? Any championship trophies or nothing? No conference wins or titles or district titles?
Nah. We came in a little bit later. That first team, that 99, 2000, those teams were really, really, really stacked. Mm-hmm. And then when I was a junior, that team didn't have quite as much firepower. And then my senior year, we had a couple of injuries that hurt us quite a bit. And so I got academic all-state both years, because grades were great, but right. No scholarships, no nothing for baseball. Just got to play. That's all.
But what are the things you loved about baseball in high school times, and you hated about it?
Okay, so honestly, I did not like playing high school baseball.
Oh.
It was way too serious. Like, I liked going out there and having fun. I got to high school baseball, and it was all, like, work. And, like, dude, I was involved in so many things at that time. Like, it was, like, really hard for me to get serious about it because I just like playing. Like, I was good, but I wasn't as good as I could have been because I didn't want to put in the work. And I realized that, like, years later, like, man, I was really stupid. Like, I should have been in the weight room and, like, working out and doing all that stuff. And I just didn't. Like, I didn't want to put the work in. I just wanted to have fun, play baseball. Yeah.
Well, then, so tell us a little bit about your freshman basketball, a little history. Like, have you hit any game winners or?
No. No, I think I scored like 9 points.
9 points?
Yeah.
Like the whole season?
Yeah. Yeah. No, seriously, I was the last guy off of the bench. Like, to the point. So, like, when I played at Ring Lardner or whatever, like, I was the point guard on the B team.
Right.
And then come up to, like, high school after 8th grade year, like, you know, all the A team kids made the freshman basketball team.
Right.
And, like, I barely made it onto the freshman team. And I think the only reason why they put me on there is because they knew my grades would help the team. Because they were pretty not very high outside of that. I don't know. Maybe I was a good team player or something, but no, I didn't do hardly anything at all. And
then you graduated, Niles High School, 2002.
2002, yep.
And then you attended what college right after?
I went to Grand Valley.
Okay.
Yep, went to Grand Valley. Back then, not very many Niles kids went to Grand Valley.
Right.
Like, everybody kind of went to Western. State was kind of big. Central was big. But not very many people went to Grand Valley because Grand Valley was really boring back then. Mm-hmm. And I went to Grand Valley on purpose to, like, try to get myself away from all the, like, hype from all those other places. Because, you know, I liked having a lot of fun when I was younger, and I had to get away from that stuff. So.
And then you did, like, what was your major?
I originally majored in political science.
Okay.
But then I wanted to become a teacher, and in order to be a teacher, you can't have a poli-sci major as a teachable major. It wasn't a thing that they allowed.
Right.
So I had to switch from political science to history, and so I went history with a poli-sci minor, emphasis in secondary education, and my theme for all of it, because Grand Valley used to make you do themes, was religion.
Okay.
Yep.
So I have a question because this is for me for college.
Sure.
Would you say out of all the schools in-state schools in Michigan, so like Michigan State, Western, Grand Valley, what college would be best for getting your academics done?
Oh, well, I mean, it really depends on what you want to do.
Right.
Really. Like, you know, State specializes in a lot of things. Michigan specializes in things. Mm-hmm. You know, like, it depends on what major you want to go in.
Right.
And, you know, it really is up to you.
Right.
Like, there isn't a single one that I'll be like, oh, hey, you know, here's an easy place you can get a degree. That's not a thing.
Right. Well, you would say you had a good time at Grand Valley?
Oh, yeah. I
met new people? Met
a lot of new people. It was really cool. It was very eye-opening to get out of Niles and, you know, be able to meet a bunch of different people. I mean, Grand Valley didn't have, like, the greatest amount of diversity or anything. Like, I didn't feel that until later on in life. But, like, it was still cool to, like, get out of, like, you know, Niles, which is, you know, relatively small, and, like, meet people who were from Lansing and Detroit and Grand Rapids and all that kind of stuff. So. But
you didn't do, like, no sports
in college? No.
Or clubs?
I was actually in. Okay, so I'll say this. So I did catch bullpen for the Grand Valley baseball team. Like, I wasn't technically on the team.
Okay.
But I had some buddies who were on the team who were, like, on my floor in the dorms, and they had some catchers get hurt, and they were like, "Hey, you know, can you come help us out, like, and catch bullpens?" And so I was a catcher in baseball, so, like, I would go and help them out and, like, do that. But I never got a letter. I never even got to dress, like, anything like that. I played intramural basketball and intramural ultimate frisbee
in the rec.
Oh yeah,
Like, part of the
Reckley.
rec?
Yep. In the
Okay.
field house. Trying to stay busy. I was also a part of starting a new club for music. It was called the Hardcore Club.
Cool.
So we tried to bring in a bunch of like punk and emo bands and like hardcore types of bands, and it was really my roommate who was into that all that more. I just needed something to do.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Caleb, hit us with question number 7.
So you teach in Texas. What made you teach down there?
So it was kind of circumstantial. So when I graduated from college, Michigan was one of the top producers of teachers in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Western had a huge teaching program. Grand Valley had a great teaching program. Michigan State, Central, everywhere across the state, they were putting out teachers.
Right.
And back then, teaching was a lot more lucrative financially, and like your insurance and stuff was paid for back then. And so people wanted to go into teaching, and it was a tough profession to get in. And I taught social studies, and I didn't coach.
Right.
And back then, if you had a social studies teacher, they were probably a coach. So it was like I didn't even get a single interview out of college. I came back here and I worked sub teaching. I worked at Brouhaha. I worked at Granger Community Church watching kids on like Thursday night to pick up $20. Like I umpired baseball, but I couldn't get a job. And my wife, who was my fiance at the time, was a year behind me. And so when she graduated from college, like I lived in my parents' basement like that year out of college. Like I was broke. And she was like, I am not doing what you did. Like I was like, well, hold on, let's wait the summer out, see if I can get an interview. No,
Nothing.
Not a single interview, not a single look. Nobody was hiring. And so she was like, I'm not doing what you did. So she talked to one of her professors, and he happened to be from Houston, and he kind of hooked us up. Like, I didn't know if I even wanted to be a teacher at that point. Like, I was so I don't know, just depressed with the whole situation of not even getting a job interview. And so we moved down to Houston, and I was like, well, I'm going to become a professional baseball umpire instead. Right. And then I got to Houston, and I learned how to umpire a lot better, but never ended up going that route because I got hired for a teaching job the next year.
Okay.
Yep.
Caleb, what's number 8? Oh, he's yawning.
Dang.
Sorry, I was young.
Man, I can't help it. I got Sheldon sleeping in my class. I got you yawning on the
wait,
podcast.
Wait, you talking about Sheldon Cornelius?
Yeah, what other Sheldons you know?
Sometimes. Yeah. Okay, so
I had to take out my bullhorn and get right up on. Anyway.
Wow. Okay, question number 8.
Yeah.
What is the best part about Niles High School from a teacher point of view? Perks from teaching here.
Okay, so I've now taught at Niles High School longer than I taught in Houston.
Right.
One of the biggest things that made us move back home was family. I had two kids. We didn't have any family down there. It was me and my wife. We're 1,200 miles away. The only time we ever got to see our family is if we came up for the summer during summer break, or if we spent the money to come up for Christmas. Hardly anybody came to visit us. And so we moved back for to be around family and raise our kids around family. We originally didn't want to be in the Niles area. We thought we'd be in between because my wife is from Marshall and I'm from Niles. So we were thinking, Kalamazoo would be a good place to start. And it just so happened that I ended up getting hired at Niles. Luckily, just it was a freak thing. They had hired somebody else and they bailed out on the job and they needed somebody last minute, and I didn't necessarily have the right certification, so they hired me. Anyway, I went through the interview process and that was cool. But teaching at Niles is so much better than teaching where I did. And I loved where I taught in Houston. It was cool. It was super cool. I think I only had 7 or 8 white kids in 8 years. It was a diverse place.
Yeah.
It was a total different experience in Houston, but I never felt like I was a part of that community specifically because we didn't even live in the same like district that we taught in. So to be in Niles and teach the kids that, you know, that right now it's so weird. Like I have so many students of friends of mine, like, and family, and like, you know, I've had my cousin. I currently have a cousin of mine in my class right now.
Oh,
yeah. So it's a little bit. It's different. Like Niles has a much tighter community that I connect with, and I really feel like, you know, like not that I didn't care about teaching in like Houston, but like now, like I can see like the effects of, you know, once these kids graduate, like what they're doing outside of graduation all the time. Right. Like in Houston, it was like, okay, well, I had them for a year. There were 5,000 kids at that school. I never saw them again. Right.
Because they're either moving across country or it's just a big city.
They're moving across country or they're moving different cities or they're, or
any cities.
I mean, just even like the school itself was so big. Like I literally never saw them again. Uh-huh. Like we had over 5,000 people at my school. Wow. And then my wife taught next door, and they had 5,000 people at that school, like all high school kids. That's on 2 blocks, 10,000 people, like the size of Niles, right? In 2 buildings.
I think
like people think Penn is a big school. Nah, Texas schools are way bigger.
Especially like their like football stadiums. Have you seen online? Like they're like actual like college stadiums. I'm like,
oh yeah, and the one that we had was like. Was weak in comparison to some of these other district stadiums. Like,
really? Yeah,
they look like, you know, they're on the same level as some like elite colleges. Like, it's that ridiculous. Yeah.
So then you're back here.
So I'm back here.
Yep. And then, so you raise your family here.
Yep.
Kind of. Well, yeah, a little bit. Then, so tell us about like the family. Your wife works at Brandywine, but your kids are going to Niles schools.
They do.
So, my question is your wife ever going to come here if the opportunity opens up?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Absolutely not.
She loves Brandywine.
Yes, she loves being at Brandywine. I love being at Niles. Mm-hmm. Not going to lie, a few years ago, I was super close to taking a job at Brandywine. Ooh. I know. Dude, they offered me a job, and they pay better. And, now, and I was just upset with some of the stuff that happened, like with COVID from a few years ago, and like the way Brandywine handled it, like it seemed a lot better than how we did. You know, not to complain about my job, but I don't know, COVID was tough all around. But yeah, I would not be able to work with my wife. Like she teaches social studies. Oh, right. So then, like, she's the department chair at Brandywine. So my wife would literally be like my supervisor. Like I can't have that at home and at school. No, I mean it's just it works out a lot better. Like we like what we do. Right. We don't need to be working with each other. I got my people here. She has her people there. Mm-hmm. You know, we don't have to take work home like that. You know.
Right. Yeah. But then, and then, like you said, the kiddos go to East Side, right?
They do. Yep.
Are they gonna finish schooling here at Niles, or are they gonna?
That's the plan.
Finish at Niles.
Yeah. So my daughter currently goes to Merritt, which is a Brandywine school. But my sister teaches there. So she's there for developmental kindergarten. But my boys have been through the Niles school district ever since we moved back to Niles. And you know we like the Niles school district. We like the fact that it's a little bit bigger. There's more opportunities for them here. There's a lot more diversity that, you know, like that we can expose them to. I mean, you know, Niles isn't exactly the most diverse place, but like we came from Houston where it was like, man, our kids could have been exposed to everything that we never were as kids. Right. And so it's like, okay, well, Niles is the closest that we can get to that. Yeah. You know, we want that to happen for our kids.
But is there like anytime it's sports season, so like football season, and especially basketball season with Niles and Brandywine, seeing like rivalry between you and your wife, like you guys like brag about different teams?
Not really. Like she's the Brandywine cheer coach, or she just got done. Like she's she's given it up for a while, maybe forever. Don't know. Right. But, like when I played, like when I was in high school, Niles and Brandywine, we were never a rivalry because we were, much bigger school. Like we never played Brandywine in anything.
Right.
So there was never a rivalry, and like I always played summer ball with like those guys from Brandywine and things like that. So we never really cared. And then when she got hired at Brandywine, it was like, no, I'm gonna support her and I'm gonna support the team. Like I have a Brandywine cup and I have Brandywine shirts and I have a Brandywine hat, but I refuse to go all out when I go to those games. Like I'll wear a Brandywine hat, but I'm wearing my Niles shirt. Or, I'll wear a Brandywine shirt, but I'm wearing my Niles hat. Like, there's no way that I'm going to all Brandywine ever. So.
All right, Kaleb, before we wrap it up, ask him the final question, the one that we always ask on this podcast.
Hey, so our grand finale question is, do you have a favorite athlete or sports team?
Okay, so I support Michigan teams. I support like my Detroit sports team. So Tigers, Lions, Pistons, Red Wings when they're in the playoffs, because I don't really watch hockey all that much, honestly. And then Michigan. I grew up a Michigan Wolverines fan, so I've always followed them. And then once we moved to Houston, I kind of adopted all the Houston teams. So the Astros and the Rockets and the Texans. They're kind of like my stepchildren, I guess, in terms of like sports, rooting for sports teams. Ooh, what is that?
It's pipes.
Piping?
Because the bathrooms are right there.
Oh, okay, all right. That's picked up. That's funny. And in terms of like favorite athletes of all time, interestingly enough, my favorite athlete is Greg Maddux, who was a pitcher for the Braves like a long time ago. Like, he's just one of my favorite players ever. And then in terms of athletes, too, I got to throw this out there. I like the Macho Man.
From WWF.
Dude, I'm still a big, like, WWF fan. Like, WWE. We're going to... we got a WrestleMania, like, viewing party already, like, set up for me and my buddies.
Soon.
And, like,
Isn't it this weekend?
No, in 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks away, so...
It's like right after my birthday.
Yeah, I mean, it's silly, but, like, I don't know. I grew up with all that stuff.
That's how I was. Like... Anytime, because like when I was little, like not everything used to be cheap, but it used to be affordable.
Sure.
And so I used to go to a lot of WWE events with my dad. So me and my dad watched it, grew up with it. So I grew up with WWE a lot, and then
who was your guy?
I was either Rey Mysterio or John Cena guy.
Okay.
So I was basic, but
that's okay.
But that's it, and then. And then once I hit like my teenage, like when I hit like middle school, like I didn't really watch it. And once I got like freshman year, like that's when WWE started like going back up again, and I just started watching it again.
I got you.
Yeah, so that's really it. But anyway,
yeah,
that'll wrap up this podcast for today. So, Mr. Janke, thank you for joining us on your
planning
hour.
I can't imagine anybody actually wanting to listen to all of this, but
Yeah. Oh, there's. People listen to this. Our own website, people click on it, but
even Spotify.
Spotify, yeah.
Wow.
I think so. Maybe. I don't know.
All right.
I guess.
But anyway, Mr. Janke, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate
Kaleb, close us out today.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to our podcast with us and Mrs. Janke.
Mrs. Janke?
Mr. Janke.
Yep.
She teaches that Brandywine. I thought we established that already.
Janke. But anyways, thank you for listening to our podcast with us.
And
have a good day.